Hey, it's Luke John Harrison here. Before we get into this video, make sure please that you like, comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure the bell notification icon is on. It only takes 1 second of your day to make mine. Now let's get into it. So me and the missus were at the wrestling at the arena in Newcastle on Sunday night. That's WWE Live. I'm a huge wrestling fan if you haven't noticed already. And it was great fun. We were sat on the floor and there was this guy behind her and he was clearly absolutely drunk. And he was there with his wife and his 10-year-old daughter. And he was like shouting, bawling at the wrestlers, which they do, the heckle, you know, people heckle, but he was going a bit overboard. He wasn't necessarily swearing, though he might have dropped the odd one. But he was just excessively loud, a little bit kind of obnoxious, knocked 2 pints over on the, nearly spilt a drink on me. And was sort of like, right, if you imagine someone sitting in the back seat, that's kind of how close he was. And imagine someone just screaming at the top of their lungs over and over again, even when the crowd was fairly quiet. You can imagine that was quite annoying, to be fair. So it was a good test of patience for me. So it was quite annoying, but I thought, you know, he's into it, he's clearly intoxicated. I don't know what's going on in his life. But the guy was 5 stone overweight, really fat. Clearly an absolute pisshead. You could just tell by the way he was going on. And he was drinking their massive 2-pinters that you get, and he was obviously really drunk. But he was with his 10-year-old daughter. I kind of thought to myself, that's the main issue there, not the fact that he's a pisshead and he's drunk. He's probably like, you know, does that regularly, maybe, I don't know. Obviously an unhealthy dude, but the problem was his daughter was following his mannerisms, following his way of speech, etc. So it was interesting because the thing is, like, his daughter will probably end up growing up thinking that is normal behaviour. And this guy was, I think, probably late 30s, 40s, you know, and that was most likely his behaviour, and it wasn't like really questioned or anything. There was one point where his wife did say, "Will you just keep it down?" I think he was being a little bit embarrassing. But the thing is with kids, right, they'll never do what you tell them. They'll do what you do. That's just the truth of it. They will do what you do. They will follow what you do. And the question is here, is your habits, is your behaviours, is your mannerisms, is your language, is the stuff that you do, not what you think or what you say, but what you do, an influence, a positive influence to your children? What about your grandchildren, the people around you even? Like, what kind of an impact are you having on them? What kind of a role model status are you giving? Now this guy, like, this is not an observation. This is not a judgment. This is an observation. The guy was fat. Clearly, he was 5 stone, easy overweight, and he was absolutely pissed. And he was one of the most pissed and loudest in that area that we were. Obviously, there's thousands of people there. But when there's thousands of people and you're particularly hearing one person, that says something, right? So the fact is, I don't know what was going on in the guy's personal life, but you have to flip this around to you. Like, that might be you at some point. That might have been you. You might know somebody like that. And it just gets you to question whether you're being the role model that you could be to your child or children or grandchildren or whatever it is. The role model that you should be. And I think I'd add to that, the role model that you can be. Because no matter where you're at in life, you know, there's people in their 70s who pick up weightlifting, who've never lifted weight in life. There's people in their 90s who start a walking club and they've never done anything like that. Like, I don't think your age matters or your ability. It's linking enough reasons why it's important. And see, most people go off track with the drink and the drugs and the food and the health because they lose track of why it's important. And the biggest factor is that, look, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your kids, man. If you can't do it for your kids, do it for your grandkids. If you can't do it for your grandkids, do it for your wife or your partner. If you can't do it for your wife, do it for your parents. Do it to prove someone wrong. Do it for someone else if you can't do it for yourself at first. You know, there has to be a time where you take your health, your actions into responsibility and stop playing a victim that it's just hard, it's my job, it's this, it's been COVID, it's I'm stressed, all the rest, like blaming outside circumstances rather than taking inner responsibility. We have to get to that point where we start acting a bit like a man and not a fucking boy, not a 21-year-old boy, right? When we're getting into our 30s and our 40s and stuff, we need to start accepting that maybe our choices are not the best for those around us. and we need to book up our ideas a little and be a little bit more consistent with the good habits. So don't be the fat piss head, right? If you hang around with fat piss heads, if you hang around with 10 fat piss heads, you'll be the 11th. If you hang around with 7 drug addicts, you'll probably be the 8th, right? This is where environment plays a key role. How your upbringing was, that plays a key role as well. There's several factors. It's not all down to one thing, but just something for you to consider today, right? What kind of an impact are you having against those closest? And consider, what can you do to get around a new group, a new coach, a new person, a new mentor, a new way of life that could potentially not just help you in the long run, but actually save your life. I'll see you later.